eat me, I'll do whatever you want. Are you okay? What's wrong? My name is Isabella Kim and I am CPR certified. Do you need my help? I guess you do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, I could run away. I feel bad. Let's make a deal. I'll make you aspirin, and you let me go if I save you. Tie your hair before you start the lap. Unless you're a guy. Oh, and don't forget your goggles. Now let's gather the materials. 400 600 milliliter beaker, test tube, 125 milliliter LMR flask, 50 10 milliliter graduated cylinder, stirring rod, 1% FeCl solution, hot plate, ring stand, 3 prolonged clamp, salicylic acid and scubulas, acetic anhydride in a plastic bottle, side arm LMR flask, funnel, filter paper, distilled water, and concentrated H2SO4 in the hood. Now let's turn on the hot plate and plug it in. And set the setting to 4 or 5. Fill the 600 milliliter beaker halfway with tap water and place it on the hot plate to serve as a hot water bath. Obtain a ring stand and 3 prolonged clamp. Set up the ring stand and the clamp as shown in the diagram below. Make sure you zero out and weigh around 1.5 grams of salicylic acid in the 125 milliliters of LMR flask. Then add 4 milliliters of acetic anhydride in the hood, followed by 4 to 5 drops of sulfuric acid, and swirl the contents. The mixture may exotherm, and it may or may not dissolve. So swirl and swirl and swirl until it's almost there. Clamp the flask to heat its content in the hot water bath. Heat the mixture for 10 minutes. If the water bath begins to boil, turn off heat. Get 50 milliliters of distilled water. While the mixture is heating, obtain a side arm LMR flask, burr funnel, and piece of filter paper and prepare a filtration setup. Add the 50 milliliters of distilled water and directly to the LMR flask. Continue heating for another 5 minutes. After you prepare a cold bath, put it in for a minute and then put a handful of ice cubes to the cold bath.
Oh no! Fail.
I'm ready to clean.
Crystals should appear after cooling for several minutes. If crystals do not appear within 2 minutes, use a stirring rod to gently scratch the inside of the flask. Once crystals start to appear, allow them to collect for at least 3 minutes. Filter the mixture using your filtration setup to collect solid. After pouring the contents of the flask into the funnel, rinse the flask with a small amount of distilled water to collect as much of solid as possible. This is your crude aspirin. While the mixture is filtering, clean your LMR flask and stirring rod. When that's all done, use a stirring rod to transfer a small amount of your crude aspirin to a test tube. Bring it to your instructor for iron chloride test. If it turns purple, dark, the dinosaur will die. Well, not really. You could redo this. To do recrystallization, use a stirring rod to transfer most of the crude aspirin from the filter paper to a clean LMR. Add 50 milliliters of distilled water to the flask and reheat the hot water bath. Heat the mixture until it dissolves, and it will take about a minute or 2 maximum. Test if your aspirin is pure again after cold bath. It worked! Now let's save the dinosaur. Isabella to the rescue! Here you go. No!
Jenny, Jenny, filming, Jenny.
Why are you filming me?
You're running away?
The scene? But I'll come back in a few seconds.
Oh.